Welcome back to the channel. So today I'm going to be doing a review slash tour of a mock that I just made. It is based off Spider-Man. Not any particular movie or comic or anything, just kind of a little diorama I made. The two characters included in it are the Rhino and Spider-Man. I thought it'd be kind of cool to build a Rhino mech a couple days ago, actually. And I just got around to finishing it yesterday. And then I figured the Rhino looks good on its own, but why not build a little diorama thing to go with it. So I built this, and I'm going to take the Rhino and Spider-Man off it real quick, just so you can get a better sense of the actual thing. So what I was kind of going for with it is a construction site kind of thing, like a hidden hideout thingy that was hidden in like a warehouse that was under construction. So this was the end result, and I think it turned out pretty well. I think there's a lot of good colors in it. It really pops. And just the detail even continuing on to the back I think is really well. I used a lot of techniques that I wouldn't usually use in this. Like right here, I used studs not on top techniques to fit the ladder in there. So that's not actually studded down to anything. I used clips here, which led onto these long, like 2x5x1 bricks, and then I have the same design on either side with the yellow and then the slopes, which I think looks pretty good, except for on this side there's a chain there instead of a 1x1 tile, and then some vines hanging down. And then way down in the back there are just a couple of computers and other such things. And up here, actually a little custom palette that I made. It's just 5x4, and then these bricks just kind of sit in there like that, and then it just studs on like so. So yeah, the Rhino just sits there, and then on top of this bottle I have Spider-Man with 3 translucent studs on the bottom, and those just go in there like that and create a little battle scene. And then taking in a look at the Rhino itself, because this I think is the coolest part of the build overall. It's minifigure scale, so next to Spider-Man. It's a pretty good size. A little bit bigger than a big fig. Oh, sorry. So it's pretty big. It took about 2 hours to build, just under 200 pieces. So it's a pretty hefty size build. I think it turned out really well. And this again used a lot of techniques I haven't used before. And one thing that I did on this that I hadn't done before is the entire thing opens up from the top in sections. So that head goes up and down like that, and that fits in. And the whole thing lifts up so that you can take the minifigure out. And then if you wanted to open up the whole back for some reason, you can do that. And then on the inside, there's just barely enough room to fit the Rhino minifigure. And then there's a chair, because if you're in a giant mech, you want to be comfortable, right? So yeah, this all fits together quite nicely. There aren't very many gaps in the mock at all. I think it all turned out pretty good. And the most difficult part of this, believe it or not, was the arms. I just couldn't get them right. So this is the design I went with. Yeah, I say they're pretty good. No thumbs, so that does look a little bit weird on the hands there. But there are guns on the forearm, like there are in the movie. Well, like the Rhino mech from the 2014 Spider-Man 2. That's kind of what this is based off of. And that continues over exactly the same thing on the other side. The legs used pretty simple techniques. It's just one ball joint interceptor up there, and then another one here, and then this is on top of a 2x1 brick with that cross interception there, and then there's just a, whatever you call that, put that on the back, and then one of these round anti-stud pieces goes on the bottom like that. And then there's just another mini ball joint on the bottom. Yeah, it's a pretty sturdy model, surprisingly. It doesn't fall over. I mean, it falls over if you hit it, but it's not like it's impossible to keep standing up. But yeah, so bringing this back in here. This is my Lego Spider-Man mock 2020 thingy. And yeah, thank you for watching. If you want to, subscribe, and I will catch ya in the next one. Adios.